Are you guys sick and tired of human error? Constantly your chatters are missing opportunities, not replying to whales, missing messages, not even checking up on the biggest spenders, or constantly retargeting the ones who are, bringing all the money into your agency, right? So this is why this feature, smart messages, is going to be a game changer for your agency. Okay, if you implement exactly what I'm about to show you, I promise you your growth financially in the OF space is going to change completely, right? If you're at 1K, it will take you to 5, 10K. If you're at 10K, it will take you to 50, 50 to 100, I promise, right? All you need to be worried about is just traffic, right? But once you have traffic come into the account, you want to completely remove human error from chatters, right? Especially if you are hiring from different parts of the world, for example, like the Philippines, Nigeria, blah, 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 and so on, right? You want to make sure that the systems are so good that the chatters are only focused on actual inbound leads and conversations rather than constantly having to do manual outreach, right? Long are the days gone when it comes to just, body welcome messages, body mass messages. You don't need that, right? These are the systems that the highest earning agency owners use, and this is why you need to implement them, okay? And the best part is I haven't seen a single YouTube video out there with different OFM guys who are actually, showing you this source. That's the crazy part. There might be like a little video, one or two, but they don't want to share this because this is where all the money is, right? So implement everything I'm about to show you, get creative, sit back, watch, take notes, and I promise you your growth, your earnings, everything is going to explode. Okay, so welcome to your first actual saucy video in the whole OFM space on our channel, right? So I'm going to be going through one of the most important features that is on Infloww that has actually changed our business forever, right? It definitely helped in kind of taking us from, 10, 50, all the way to 100K per month. Especially now, like we can't live without this feature pretty much because we rely on it, right? So what it looked like before is our chatters would spend 80% of their time actually messaging every single fan, since we didn't do mass messages simply because it was a little bit too baity, and that's what every model does, right? So you don't want to do that. You don't want to be the agency just sending mass messages nonstop again and again and again, because your fans are pretty much just going to understand, like, look, like you just sent this message to everyone, so, I'm not going to respond. And that's where smart messages come in, right? And I'm not exaggerating. This will take your earnings through the roof, okay? So why do we actually use smart messages, right? We use them because you want your chatters mainly focused on inbound messages rather than them spending nonstop time on active online fans, dropping them a message each and every single one. Especially when you have thousands of fans, right? It's not really applicable, okay? And it's not really smart to use your chatters times like that, okay? Whereas if you have a feature that's constantly doing like smart outreaches for you using their name and so on, your chatters time is going to be used so much more efficiently simply because they just focus on all the inbound messages, and that's where the money is, okay? So I'm going to go through exactly how to set this up. All right. So over here, what you want to do is you want to just click this little growth button over here. You want to click the smart messages feature, right? And it'll take you to this page. Okay. So yours, if you haven't implemented it already, yours is going to look blank. All right. So what it looks like is you want to click add new message, right? And it's gonna ask which one you want to pick. Okay. So you want to click this one, nudge, right? So once you click it, what it's going to look like is this. So I'm not going to create a brand new one for you from scratch. I'm just going to duplicate this, and you can pretty much just copy this. Okay. So once you click nudge, this is the page that it's going to take you to. Okay. So it's going to ask you, who is this smart message actually going to be sent to? Right. And you're going to have loads of different settings to kind of play with. All right. So what you want to pick is you want to pretty much just pick all the fans receive this message. So all the fans, blah, 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 high spenders, and so on. Okay. But if you want a specific group of people, for example, your whales, to not actually get these messages, right? you want to actually put them in the whole exclude. So for example, one of ours, like since one of our new chatters, he's got, 19 whales onto his profile. So how we set it up is the first chatter to kind of get like a full script done and get them past the 5K mark. We pretty much just, that's the chatter's client from now on. Okay. So for example, we'll exclude that. But with ours, we've kind of stopped doing that simply because, of all the different settings we've put in place. Okay. So that's just that. What you want to do is on this one right here, fans who were sent direct messages, automated messages, or priority messages recently. Okay. So that just means if your chatter has spoken to a fan within the past X amount of time, they're not going to receive this message. So imagine chatter's just had a conversation with a fan, just on a full script, and just said, you know what, I'm going to get to sleep, have a good night, blah, 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 right? Obviously, you don't want to send them a smart message within the next 10 minutes when they come online because, the chatter's just ended the conversation, so it doesn't make sense. That's why I recommend roughly around 1 to 3 hours, right? So if any of the fans have received a message within, for example, here, 3 hours, they're not going to receive our smart message, okay? And obviously you want to click ones with fans who previously viewed attached media and also fans with unread messages, okay? Right. So there's different little things that you can do here, like with the spending and so on, but pretty much just include everyone. Okay, so that's that. Now, for the rules, this is going to be super, super important. Okay, you want the trigger to be when the fan comes online. Okay, so there's different ones, right? And you can pretty much set up loads of different smart messages all playing at the same time. Okay. But for this one example, since we are doing the nudge feature, we want the chatters to get some inbound leads. We're going to pick when the fan comes online. Okay. So you've got different ones, which is like a welcome nudge when fan subscribes for the first time, fan purchases PPV, and so on. Okay. Now, with this one, fan comes online, you want to send a message to fans. It's going to give you two options, either immediately or after delay. I recommend after delay. If a fan, as soon as he comes online, right? OnlyFans is such a shitty little platform, that never gets updated. So they're not going to get an instant notification, right? It's going to take some time to load. They probably need to refresh their page just for you to actually see, just for them to actually see your message. All right. So do it after a delay. Okay. So after you click after a delay in random minute intervals. So one day is going to be, within the first minute of them coming online. Next day it could be within the next 3 minutes coming online. Okay, so I recommend 1 to 3 minutes. All right, now let's move on to the next part. Okay, which is frequency and scheduling. Okay, so frequency and scheduling. You want to click this one. Forget about this one. All right, it literally, we've tried it, does not work, and you're gonna fuck your shit up. All right, so send every time the fan matches the trigger. All right, so what it pretty much means is every time they match this one, so when they're in a specific group and when they come online, they're going to be sent this message, okay? And you want this effective immediately, okay? And the expiry is never, unless you want to send a specific type of message or PPV or whatever, just for like a scheduled date. For example, if you're doing like a sale on, a specific content material for like a specific time, you'd click schedule date. Okay. Now you must be wondering, right? Okay, the fan, when they come online, they're going to get a message every single time. Okay. But won't they get sick of receiving the same message nonstop all the time? Okay. So that's why in the message feature here, it's going to be the most important. And that brings me to the topic of collections. Okay. So you can pretty much set up a collection, right? Like this. And it's going to look like this. So the first message they receive, for example, on collection one, is when they come online, hey name, how are you, by the way? Okay. And if they don't respond within, so over here, make sure you add this part. Okay. So if they don't respond within 2 minutes or you can change it to 1 minute or whatever suits you, right? They will then receive another message, okay? And it's going to be like, that's if you'll actually reply, lol, okay? And then it's going to wait another 2 minutes, right? And it's just going to say name or whatever, but you can literally write whatever you want in this, okay? And I'll do a brand new collection for you in a second, okay? And when you want to add messages, just click the add message button at the bottom, all right? So what collections actually are is you don't want them to receive these sequence of messages every time they come online, right? And before I move on to different collections, the last thing you want is for them every single time to actually, see a long list of messages of, hey, how are you, by the way, and just being ignored. That does not put your model in the right frame of mind for the model. It just looks for the fan, because it just looks desperate and kind of needy, right? So you actually want to click this gear button here and click auto send, right? Sorry, auto unsend. And you want to click this. So unsend messages, retract free messages, and lock PPV within 1 hour. So if they didn't respond to this sequence within 1 hour, it will all be unsent, okay? And you want to click this too, right? You don't want the sequence to obviously continue after they've replied. So for example, if a fan replies to, hey name, how are you, by the way, right? It's not going to send the rest of the sequence, which is this one, and that's if you actually reply. Because obviously they're going to know it's like a bot, right? So you want to click unsend messages within 1 hour if they haven't read it or opened it or even responded to it, which is this, and it will basically automatically unsend it. So it looks like a completely fresh kind of, empty chat box, and it puts you in a good perspective of the actual fan, right? And you want to click stop message sequence. So once a fan replies to a message, the remaining message sequence will not be sent, okay? And you want to click save on that, all right? Now, you don't want the fan, like I said, to keep receiving the same sequence over and over again. That's why I recommend per model, I want you to actually create 10 different collections, okay? And I want you to rotate these out probably every 2 weeks. So you're going to just, change them, delete them, and so on every 2 weeks, okay? So for example, collection 2, it looks like name, how's your day so far, right? And it's going to wait 1:30. I guarantee it's going a lot better than mine. Well, let's hope you don't make it worse by ignoring me. Guess you don't want to talk. Okay, so you pretty much just make it look like the model wants to say different things to him every time. And why I love smart messages is because if a fan has received collection 1, they're not going to receive it again, like until it goes through all 10 of them. So it looks like the model has something new to say to the fan every single time, right? So as you can see, each collection is kind of different. But the main aim of what you actually want it to say is you want to trigger a response from the actual fan, right? Because as soon as the fan responds, that's when your chatter comes into play, and will actually just interact with them, check out their days and so on, and then go in for the sale and the script, okay? But all of that is not possible if you can't even get the fans' attention. So what I'm saying is get super, super, super creative, right? Like, how's your day? I'm so bored, blah, blah, blah. And you could do some things like, oh, I'm having such an emergency, I need advice, blah, 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 and so on, right? So if we actually just want to, let's just click here, right? So the maximum collection you can do is 10, okay? So let's just say I just want to, so for example, this is creative. Hey name, I wanted to ask you, would you ever date an OF girl, right? There's only a few things they want to respond to that. They might say yes, they might ignore it. If not, I'm only asking because I know most wouldn't, okay? So that's basically that. Let's just delete this collection here, okay? And then make a brand new one, okay? So to make a brand new collection is the plus button over here, right? And I'm going to say like, by the way, I was wondering, what's your fave movie, right? And what to do next is, right, you want to click add message here, okay? You want it to wait at least about 1:30 to 2 minutes. So I'll just do 1:30. And you want it to sound like you actually care about what you're saying to them. So you can say, I'm only asking because I'm heading to the cinema later, or in fact, I'm bored watching Netflix. I need some entertainment. Lol. Okay. So that would pretty much kind of just like help you out there, right? And you want to add another message and just be like, wait another 2 minutes. I low-key don't like that you are ignoring me, and so on. Okay. And once you pretty much just kind of like saved it there, so it will be saved naturally. You don't need to do anything else. Even if you go between the collections and so on, boom, like it'll be there. Okay. So you pretty much done the message aspect, the frequency, the rules, and so on. So now all you want to do is click save and publish. Okay, so as soon as you click that, the messages, the smart messages are all done on your Infloww and it's ready for that model. Like I said, this feature has made me hundreds of thousands of dollars for all my models, right? And it's simply because you want the chatter's time simply on inbound messages only. Okay, because if they are wasting their time constantly trying to active fans, or if you are constantly just doing mass messages nonstop all the time, okay, it's not going to work well, right? So I want you to play around with this. There's also different ways to approach smart messages. For example, you can have PPVs inside it, right? You can do, hey, by the way, I wanted to actually just show you what I did last night, blah, blah, blah. And you just attach PPV and kind of do it like a sequence like that. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I tried to pretty much not hold anything back. Play around with it, but I promise you it's going to change your agency completely.